Hello, good evening, everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Rajiv Chopra from the Dusty Mic Chronicles. Last week, I made a podcast episode about a world without images. Maybe I should have been more explicit and only spoken about a world without photographs and videos. This world should not be that hard to imagine because all that we need to do is to travel back about 3 centuries to the world of our ancestors, to a world where there were no photographs and there were no videos that flood our consciousness. However, I'm not going to talk about this now. This is a topic that I intend to research deeply over the next several months. Today, I'd like to talk about another topic, aura in photography. While all people seem to have aura, some people seem to have more than others. Now, I don't wish to discuss personal aura, nor do I wish to discuss Kirlian photography. Let's start with just a tentative exploration of this fascinating and complex subject. And I would also say it might even be slightly controversial. It might be almost impossible to define aura. The most common usage seems to be that aura is a distinctive quality or atmosphere or feeling that surrounds a person, place, or thing. So you can have a bad aura or a good aura. I won't go into the spiritual, medical, or philosophical definitions to avoid getting tangled in all sorts of webs. Let's just stay with photography. Walter Benjamin wrote a paper called A Short History of Photography in 1931. In his definition, a photograph possessed aura when it creates a unique bridge between the past and the present. This definition is not enough because when you think about it, every photograph represents history. You will see a photograph by, and I am going to mispronounce his name, Eugene Atget, a French photographer who lived in the 19th century. And this photograph forms the podcast artwork. I believe aura is something personal. And in my opinion, this photograph oozes aura, but that's my personal opinion. When I look at this photograph, I pause. My eyes linger. The photo speaks to me of an age gone by, of lifestyles that you may never see again. Ghosts of the past linger in the photograph and create a bridge between the past and the present. I find this to be remarkable because I have no cultural connection with Paris or France. But since I spent part of my childhood in England, I am not unfamiliar with these stately homes built with the blood and bones of the colonies. Walter Benjamin speaks of a strange weave of space and time. There is another aspect to the concept of aura that you may or may not disagree with. Many older photographs, especially those from the 19th century, demanded long exposure times because technically that was all they could do. And with these long exposure times, the photographer almost had to live in the photograph while exposing their plates. Now with the spread of ultra-fast cameras and mobile phones and shutter speeds, we snap a photograph and move on. Do modern photos have aura? Probably they do. Walter Benjamin believed that the industrialization of photography, aura in the photos. And if that's what he felt in the 1930s, think about what he's going to feel now, especially with AI pervading the world of photography. Now, these days, there is a special branch of photography called long exposure photography, and photographers use neutral density filters to create silky clouds, smooth water. And the first time I saw some of these photographs, I stopped and I said, wow. But then I saw so many of them that the aura began to diminish. It is possible that our descendants, a century back, may have also felt the same. And maybe these people a century back saw the photographs and didn't feel the same sense of awe or didn't feel the aura that we feel today. Another aspect, modern photos with silky clouds and smooth water are the product of digital perfection. There is no grain, there are no dust spots, no signs of paper crease, and no corroded metal substrate. These are perfect in a way that makes them boring. And maybe because of that, some of them might lose their aura rather fast. Now, much later, and again I'm going to mispronounce his name, Roland Barthes. He spoke of the punctum, a small, poignant detail in a photograph that pricks or punctures you on a personal level. For Barthes, this was tied to the realization of something that has been. Remember, before I end, Walter Benjamin had his critics, and many people disagreed with his essays and what he said about photography. And probably many people will agree or even disagree with what I say now. For now, let us allow Walter Benjamin and Roland Barthes to slumber in peace, and we shall return to this topic a few weeks from now. So, Rajiv Chopra from the Dusty Mic Chronicles saying, Sayonara, goodbye. And before I go, let me end with my little advertising spiel. Do leave a comment, share your thoughts, spread the word, and see you next week. Ciao, sayonara, saijien.